Welcome to Let's Get Into It. I am your host, Sherelle Higgins. Let's Get Into It is a safe space to have real conversations that are meant to uplift, encourage, and let you know you are not the only one dealing with life. Each episode of Let's Get Into It is designed to provide illuminating and thought-provoking information on a variety of topics. In fact, no topic is off limit. If you would like to see a topic discussed, please feel free to make a recommendation. My special guest and I will have a great time discussing topics that the mainstream media wouldn't dare discuss. We will bring these conversations to you with an open mind, respectfully, from different perspectives, and most importantly, with love. Thank you for joining me and my special guest. Now, let's get into it. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me. I am Sherelle Higgins. I am the host of Let's Get Into It. And for those who are new to me and just finding out about my channels, my social media sites, and you are tuning in, I just like to give a brief background of my experience so that you know that I have experience to talk on this subject matter. I worked for the federal government for 32 years. I am a retiree. I worked at 7 different agencies. Working at that many agencies gave me the opportunity to gain a vast array of experience and knowledge. And I am passing my knowledge on to you. So as we navigate the waters, the troubled waters, we can make informed decisions. So first today, I want to talk about probationary period employees. Probationary period employees have very limited rights. And so, if this is your first year in the federal sector and you are on a probationary period, or if you are on a 2-year trial period, you have very limited rights. However, if you are terminated due to discriminatory reasons, um, e.g., political affiliation, you can appeal that to the Merit Systems Protection Board. Otherwise, you cannot appeal a termination during a probationary period. So, I also wanted to just give you some insight into what's going on at OPM, Office of Personnel Management. OPM, the proposal is to cut OPM by 50%. And part of some of the people that will be impacted by that 50% are those who process our retirement benefits. And so, of course, that is going to have an impact. It's going to cause some delays. It's going to eventually have people hiring um, non-experienced people to try to process retirement. So if you are contemplating retiring right now, you may want to make sure that you have access to some cash because it's no telling how long it's going to take in order for you to start getting your retirement checks. And also, is no telling how if what you receive will be accurate. So I wanted to put that out there so that it is clear and we can start preparing for what's to come. Now, I saw in the headlines that um, a early retirement will be offered. So what does that mean? That means that in order to be eligible, first of all, agencies have to specifically go to OPM and ask for approval for early retirement. It's not something that anybody could just do a blanket early retirement authority for the entire federal government. Each federal agency has to go into OPM and ask for approval. When they are preparing their request for approval, they have to indicate which employees or which positions will be eligible for early retirement. So it could be the entire agency with no exceptions, or it could be certain people. So you will need to pay attention to what your agency is doing because it will vary by agency. And to be eligible for early retirement, you have to be at least 50 with 20 years of service. or you can have 25 years of service and be any age. So if you meet those two criteria, you could begin to be eligible. That's just the beginning. You also have to have been in your position for at least 30 days prior to the date that your agency submits its request to OPM. So if you just transferred agencies, let's say in the last 3 weeks, you may not be eligible for the Early Retirement Authority. Also, you have to separate by the closeout period of the Early Retirement Authority. So if the agency goes in and asks for Early Retirement Authority, they will tell the agencies we want everybody off the rolls by a certain date. You will have to be off the rolls by that date. And so, again, that's going to depend on what your agency requests. And so you want to pay close attention to any communications coming from your agency to tell you what that criteria is and what the date is. Please do not have people that don't work at your agency thinking that the way that your agency is doing it, is laying it out, applies to how their agency should be doing it. Each agency will be different. So, no, retirement is not agency specific, but the Early Retirement Authority is. And so we want to be clear on that. Now, if you are under CSRS retirement system, you have to retire on the first, second, or third of the month in order for your annuity to start the following day. If you do not retire on the first, second, or third of the month, let's say you decide to retire on the 15th, then your annuity will not start till the beginning of the following month. So it's important, if you are under CSRS, to retire on the first, second, or third of the month. If you are under CSRS and you take an early out authority, your annuity will be reduced by 2% for every year that you are under the age of 55. That is only applicable to those under CSRS. For those that are under FERS, it is best to retire at the end of a month. And then that way, your retirement annuity will start at the beginning of the following month. So if you retire September 30th, it starts on October 1st. There is no penalty for retiring under Early Retirement Authority under FERS. So you will not be penalized at 2%. So you want to make sure under both authorities, under both programs, both CSRS and FERS, you can use your sick leave for service credit. And so, but you cannot use that service credit cannot be added before you actually meet the eligibility requirements. It's added afterwards. And so you want to think about, if you have sick leave on the books, and if you take a day of sick leave off, you get full pay for that. That's not how they're going to calculate it for adding it after the fact, after you met the requirements. So you want to see what's more beneficial. Is getting an extra, say for example, extra $20 in your annuity check for a lifetime going to be more valuable to you than getting a full day pay if you use 8 hours of sick leave? So do the calculations yourself, figure it out, talk to your benefits specialist. You're going to hear me say that a lot, because your benefits specialist in your agency can give you precise information about your particular circumstance. The information I am giving is general and pretty much applies to all. So you want to make sure you sit down with your benefits specialist and get the information you need to make an informed decision for yourself. Also, if you have um, health benefits through the federal sector, you have to carry those health benefits for at least 5 years prior to retirement in order to take it into retirement. However, if you retire under a voluntary early retirement authority, OPM will give the agency a waiver to say that as long as you had it for as long as you were employed, then you can take it into retirement with you. So again, you want to make sure you understand before you make a decision how it's going to impact you. Um, Also, with life insurance, you can take that into retirement if you so choose. But please keep in mind that for every year that you get older, your life insurance value will decrease. And so you want to make sure that it's going to be worth it to you to stay with the federal life insurance as opposed to getting a private life insurance. Again, do your research. Do not um, just make decisions that are not going to help you. If you decide to take a retirement, if you decide to get a job outside of the federal sector, you will be limited to the salary limitation if you are eligible for a FERS supplement. And what the FERS supplement is when because you're eligible to retire under FERS at 56 and can't draw Social Security until you're 62, the government will give you what they call a Social Security supplement. And that supplement will come in your annuity check, and you will get that until you turn 62 and eligible to draw Social Security. So if you get a job outside of the federal sector after you retire, just know that there's an earnings limitation. You want to check and see what that limitation is. It changes every year. You want to check to make sure that you don't exceed that earnings limitation unless that's what you choose to do. If you choose to exceed the limitation, your supplement will be decreased, and it will continue to decrease until you're down to zero. Now, in subsequent years, if you if you don't exceed that salary limitation, you can get your supplement back as long as you are under 62. If you decide to come back into the federal sector once you have retired, you would be called a reemployed annuitant. And what that means is you came back into the federal sector and they're going to offset your salary by your annuity check. So you will not be eligible for your full GS salary or SES salary because they're going to offset it by your retirement. When it comes to a voluntary separation incentive the program, which is also known as the buyout, if the administration or your agency decides to offer a buyout, again, they have to go to OPM to get approval before they can do it. They have to also identify the positions that they will be offering the buyout to. And so if you decide to take the buyout, you cannot come back into the federal government for 5 years, or you will have to pay back the full amount of the buyout amount that you got. Now, the buyout amount is going to be calculated based on your years of service. And so some people will get everybody will get up to $25,000 if you work for a non-DOD agency. If you work for DOD, it's up to $40,000. And so, of course, that $25,000 will be taxed. And so you're not going to get the full $25,000. So please know that. And so you want to make sure, again, that you are paying attention to the details and how it will impact you. And so if you leave under a buyout and you come back into the government prior to your 5 years, you will have to pay back the full $25,000. So you want, again, pay attention. Don't panic. Don't panic. It's not time to panic yet. If you haven't seen some of my other videos, please check them out. I am going to come to you live. I'm going to get into it real quick. I'm gonna give you the information you need to know based on what is being talked about right now. And then you can go and do further research. I promise you, if you go to opm.gov, it is a wealth of information there, and you can verify and validate everything that you hear me say. And so you want to make sure that you do that for yourself so that you understand how these things may or may not impact you. Thank you for joining me today. Oh, what if you retire at 60 and decide to wait to collect your retirement benefits until age 62? Okay, so for the first part of that, um, if either you retire or you resign, is one or the other. And if you are eligible at 60 with 10 years of service, then you should go ahead and retire, not resign. Because if you resign instead of retiring, then you're going to miss out on 2 years of that first supplement. What happens with the supplement, and can you be hired as a rehire annuitant? Yes. With the supplement, you will continue to get your supplement until you're 62 if you are rehired as an annuitant. But again, you want to keep in mind that if you come back in, whatever grade level you are, you will not get that full pay. And so you have to make some informed decisions about whether or not you want to be a rehired annuitant. Does that help? Okay, so if you were going to retire anyway this year, you could retire again under FERS, minimum retirement age, plus 30 years of service. You can retire at 60 with 10 years of service or 62 with 5 years of service. So, see what's in your best interest, make an appointment with your benefits specialist at your agency, and find out your particular situation and information so that you can make an informed decision. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you all in a couple of days, but let's get into it real quick. If you have any questions, you can always jump on Facebook and see me live and post your questions live, and I will answer them live. You can also follow me on Instagram, and you can follow me on, I have a YouTube channel, All Things Sherelle Higgins. Thank you. Oh, can I hire you as a consultant? Absolutely. You can hire me as a consultant. I am subject to the earnings limitation as well, but you can certainly hire me as a consultant. I am available for hire. Thank you for that question. If there are no more questions, I will see you all in a couple of days. Take care of yourself, enjoy your life, and try not to worry. Have a good night.